Many of us spend a lifetime trying to exercise or diet fat away, but do we really understand body fat? In today's video, we're diving into the secret lives of fat cells. Hello everybody, how are you all doing? I hope your day is going great. Warm welcome back. This is the place where we have conversations about healthy living. For the past 4 weeks now, every single Wednesday, I put out a video trying to connect all the pieces of the weight loss puzzle. If you're new here, I recommend you go back and watch episode 1 where we talked about calories, episode 2 where we talked about hormones, in 3 we talked about the role of exercise, and today we're going to be looking at the fat cells themselves so that when we can understand how they roll, how they work, how we deposit fat, where we deposit fat, we can better comply with what it takes to lose the body fat. All right, first let us establish the basics. Why we store fat, how exactly we store fat, and the significance. When we eat, food gets broken down via a process known as digestion into its smallest units. These units are absorbed and used to build, repair, and supply energy. Any excess energy not used or needed immediately by the body is converted to fat and stashed away in tiny storage containers known as fat cells. The reason why fat gets stored in fat cells is so that it can be used later on to produce energy to run the body without us needing to eat. Thanks to our desk job and abundance of food, we hardly ever give our bodies a reason to dig into our fat stores. We are constantly supplying additional energy through the food that we eat. At some point, this becomes a problem. The fat cells puff up and literally start to burst at the seams. They start to malfunction because, you see, fat cells regulate hormones and immunity. When they get too big, they disrupt insulin regulation that can eventually lead to type 2 diabetes, cause chronic inflammation that can eventually lead to heart disease and even cancer. Now that we know just exactly how important it is to understand the science of body fat, the significance of it, let us talk about the different types of body fat. There are 3 main types of fat that can be found in the body. There is white fat, there's brown fat, and then there's beige fat. White fat constitutes the majority of the fat that you will find on the body. It is the fat that you will find right under the skin, so it's also known as subcutaneous fat. It is the fat that gives us our curves and all. But again, when you have too much of it, it can become a problem. Visceral fat is a type of white fat. This is the kind that you would find wrapped around internal organs such as your heart, such as your kidneys, such as your liver. It is dangerous fat. When you have this kind of fat, it puts you at risk for many health conditions. Cellulite is another kind of white fat. Ladies, cellulite is white fat that has developed scar-like tissue, giving it that lumpy appearance. The other main category of fat is what is known as brown fat. This is the kind of fat that you would find in children, in babies, and this fat is the good fat. This fat is mostly found like around your neck area, your back area. They say that it is around this area so that it keeps your heart warm and your brain warm. This kind of fat generates heat, so you can see how significant it is for babies to stay warm and for our heart and our brains to stay warm. So this is the good kind of fat. People that have a lot of brown fat are generally leaner. Beige fat is the other kind of fat, which is just white fat that is being converted into brown fat. And this can happen when you expose yourself to cold. So cold therapy would help with that, and exercise will also help you convert the white fat to brown fat. Where do you stash body fat? Where do you have the tendency to store body fat? Most of us have the same fat depots, if you will, but based on our genetics, based on our genes, what we inherited, we are going to have a tendency to deposit fat in one area more than the other. Some people deposit fat in their upper body, some people around their core, some people are bottom fat depositors. So where do you deposit fat? Let me know in the comment section below, from number 1 to number 6. And you can deposit fat in more than one area, so feel free to pick more than one number. I'd like to know. And how can you tell if your fat cells have grown too big? Look in the mirror. A simple one that most of us should have laying around is to use a tape such as this one and measure your waist circumference. This will give you a pretty good indication. This is a 40-inch circumference for men. Anything more than 40 inches and you're putting yourself at risk for major health conditions. For women, it's 35 inches. This is 35 inches for women. So anything more than 35 inches and you're putting yourself at risk for serious health issues. Let me just share this little nugget that I came across as I was doing the research for this video that explains a lot. Many of us think of losing fat or of losing weight as we're actually losing fat cells. We are not. When you lose weight, when you lose body fat, what is happening is your fat cells are just shrinking. When you gain weight, the fat cells expand. You are not losing the number of fat cells. The number of fat cells that most of us have as adults is pretty constant. It's pretty much the same. And that number was determined in our adolescence. Adolescence is the period between puberty and right up to adulthood. So during that, 10 to 21 or 13 to 21, that age period, the size that you wear at that time is a big determinant of the weight struggles that you're going to have later on in life, because you're forming those fat cells during that age period. And if you ended up with a large number of fat cells, you're stuck with it for life. So it's very easy to just fill up the fat cells with fat and then they expand and you gain weight. Meanwhile, somebody that was normal weight during that time in their lives, they don't have to struggle as much with weight later on in life because they don't have that many fat cells that they can possibly fill up with fat. So what do you do to shrink the fat cells? That is most of what I share on this channel. Just keep watching the videos that I put out. Number 1, control what you eat. The quantity of what you eat is going to be a huge factor. We already explored this in episode 1. Please go back and watch it. I'm going to share the links in the description box. Number 2, you have to control the quality of what you eat. This is also known as clean eating for hormonal balance. I talked about this in episode 2 of this series. Number 3, exercise. And with that, I have come to the end of this video. I thank you so much for all of your support. Let's continue to be one another's keeper. If you're new to this channel, warm welcome. Thank you so much, guys. Stay healthy and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.